vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer.
So, the Absolution patch is gone, nearing its end, and with 7's arrival, we finally end one of the worst eras of Paladins I have the displeasure of ever living through. Azaan has basically screwed the realm over harder than any other champion I could have ever thought of. Like, not even pre-nerf Dredge, Yagarath, Headshot Andro, or Dog Cart Luna. I cannot say with any I have any extensive experience with Azaan, as I currently left him on the shelf after buying him after I discovered how awful he was, out of respect for the enemy team, but I can say from the hundreds of times I have faced off against him, that the November-December of 2021 was the most awful moments for Paladins. Like, I think I would rate it even lower than Sands of Myth, in my opinion, for the most awful patch of Paladins. I would even go to the extent of saying that Azaan is the Brigida of Paladins. No other champion has induced the amount of frustration, rage, and misery that this overtuned pile of garbage has brought upon this game. There are few things I could say positive about the end of 2021 for Paladins, and to be honest, I don't think anyone can disagree with me. It all starts with the update show. It's a cool Pyre Crusader with a hammer that beats up the Vor Fetish main. That's cool. There's even a VTuber voice pack coming out. It should attract some anime degenerates to the game. PTS comes up, and Azaan is good. Really damn good. Too good, in fact. With the Grim Deliverance card and talent Persistence, he is unkillable, and can lock down players until they die and get away with 4 people shooting at him. People including me remark on it, but Evil Mojo doesn't do anything. Patch day and nothing's changed. The VTuber voice pack sounds like Amelia Watson is miserable from her meth withdrawal.
Choose your champion. Rover's my favorite.
My ears burn!
And the skins are all but ugly, except for Yag. And Leon can still spam Alacrity.
If facing a Leon main, kick their nuts and say it was auto aim.
And guess what happens to Azaan? Nothing. Not only is Azaan slamming his hammer into my skull, but the sound stops working. Not only is Azaan overpowered, but now no one can hear him, just like the kid in the basement of his mains. This goes for the flanks too. Andro dashes would be muted, making him obliterate teams. Other sound cues that would balance out flanks, made them run rampant. Bot matches became more popular if Azaan appeared in the team. Guess what I was doing during that time? Voring his stupid ass with Yagarath. Turns out War Mama can do pretty well against BBC, so I decided my Ligma grind set and set out to make every Azaan game miserable. After 3 whole weeks of pure pain, the sound was fixed near the beginning of December, and Azaan was told that he was a bad boy, and pulverizing kittens and puppies was really bad. As it turns out, that did jack shit nothing. Here we are. To all the Azaan mains out there, you should
kill yourself now!
My main problem with this entire patch was a lack of dev involvement. While we suffered from Azaan and numerous bugs, the Paladins Twitter gave minimal response until they fixed it, acting like nothing was wrong while everyone complained. They reused the Jewish and Christmas Grover avatars from last year, making it seem as if they were trying to appease us with no effort at all. Released Salt and proceeded to make her ass fat enough to classify her as obese, as an act of spite instead of addressing the plight of the players. They barely did anything while Azaan had a consistent 70% win rate, even while nerfing him, which not even Yagarath had in her peak. Devs, if you're watching this, you may have been having a rough time during this period. I don't know. Hi-Rez might have been on your asses to mass-produce shitty Paladin NFTs, or to make emoji-ass mouse pads like some kind of Cambodian child worker. But I don't know anything, because none of y'all said anything. The total lack of interaction on the Twitter, Reddit, or even in-game made people feel isolated and uncared for. And I felt like the devs just abandoned the game after the second week of the patch, trying to put flimsy bandages for the player base by announcing double XP weekends for Azaan and worthless copy-paste avatars. My advice for Evil Mojo, please tell us what the hell is going on when there are problems. I don't know what went on during the November-December period, but please don't leave us in the dark again. Going back to my previous statement comparing Azaan to Brigitte, there was actually a scary similarity with Baguette and the Hogless Rider. In a simple TLDR before I go into detail, pre-nerf Brig and Azaan have one overarching aspect. They do too much, too well. Brig's main problems were her self-sustain with her shields and self-heal, bolstering allies around her, and having multiple forms of crowd control and an area denial. Self-sustain in the form of self-heals and a personal shield for Brig could be compared to Azaan's ire healing, life rip, and built-in DR, as well as the walls. His cards could give allies around his walls 25% damage resistance, similar to Brig's armor packs and heals, and Brig's shield bash and mace knockaround could be compared to Azaan's body slam wallstone and hammer slammer knockup. It might just be me, but the fact that Evil Mojo has created a buffer, black, near replica of Brig, it's eye-opening to notice. In conclusion, this patch has been a disastrous garbage fire, and probably the worst I've ever experienced since the mid-2018s. But with the overall ambitious changes that should be happening soon in the 7 patch, I really do hope the game does get better, because despite all my bitching and moaning I genuinely care for the game ever since I started playing, and I even bought merch for this game. I've said a lot of stuff sarcastically in a lot of my posts, but I mean this genuinely now, and I really hope it happens. Let's make 2022 one of the best years for Paladins.